conversation and take questions in terms of the two items of legislation that was released by the BLR yesterday to the legislators. But before I take questions, I just thought I would go through some of the points I wanted to emphasize in the two bills that would be presented in the special session. The first bill, of course, is the Arkansas Works Bill. The second bill would be the Medicaid Reform Act, or the Savings Plan. And I want to first express my appreciation to the Legislative Task Force for the very lengthy and arduous work they've done in getting us to this point, and particularly Senator Hendren and Representative Collins, the co-chairman, who have also agreed to co-sponsor this legislation and to lead its effort in the legislature. Very much appreciate their efforts. And what I want to emphasize is the number of historic precedents and firsts that are included in this legislation. First of all, under the Arkansas Works legislation, I've always outlined 4 principal objectives and planks of the Arkansas Works Plan. Each of those are included in the bill. You've seen that. One of those, a number of them require waivers, and I want you to know that I'm optimistic about the waiver process and our discussions with CMS through Cindy Gillespie and her team at DHS. But the formal waiver process cannot begin until the legislature acts on this and passes this legislation. And I feel comfortable where we are, but I did want to emphasize the unique nature of our emphasis on the employer-based insurance. This is the first of its kind in this fashion in the country. There's some different models that CMS is looking at as precedent for this, but it is very unique what we're presenting. And it's unique because it's not a beneficiary decision. It is the employer option to be included and to show that they have a qualified plan that they would like to work with DHS on. So it's an employer option versus a mandate, and that's why the incentives are an important part of the package. And this ultimately will save us money, but it also accomplishes the objective of enhancing employer-based insurance versus government insurance. So it's historic, it's unique, it is a novel approach that Arkansas is presenting and considering. The second thing I would emphasize in the Arkansas Works legislation is that some of the detractors say, well, you can't count on the federal government sticking with their commitment to pay 90% of the cost of the Medicaid expansion. Of course, it escalates to that point and starts at a more minimal level. But on page 6 of the legislation, it does provide that termination of the Arkansas Works program shall begin with 30 days after a reduction in any of the following federal medical assistance percentages. And so if they ever fail to live up to their commitment, or they adjust their commitment, then that is a provision, a requirement for us to opt out of the program. And so that protection is in the Arkansas Works legislation.